turns out like Omutuo. We need to demystify the stereotypes, right? And for me, this is important. So a big well done to, of course, City FM and ChannelOne TV, Agri Impact Limited, the 24-hour Secretariat and MasterCard for pushing this. I know.
Right, I think it's a good time to go into our papers, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. What are we starting
I
with?
have here the Daily Guide and the Spectator newspaper.
Okay.
Big front page story, Daily Guide out, prioritize enterprise development. That's from NPP flag bearer aspirant Kennedy Japan. Also big on the front page, convicted MASLOC boss detained in US, and I'm referring to Sedinam Tamakloe at Tionu. Also on the front page here, SkyTrain trial, committee approval pops up, story on page 3. Baumia Napo Wu Ashanti region, story on page 6 of the Daily Guide newspaper. House help jailed 7 years for acid attack. And on the back page, AFCON is like World Cup for African players. That's coming from Ghana legend Asamoah Gyan. Albert Amwa returns to Kotoko on loan. And also here on the back page of the Daily Guide newspaper, Man City agreed £20 million deal to sign Mark Guehi. On the Spectator newspaper, there's an interesting piece on Ghana's first IUI quadruplets who have been delivered in Ghana, and I believe by Dr. Nana Iya Ose, who is the medical director for the Walking Egg Medical and Fertility Center. And on the back page, there's an interesting piece on referee Daniel Lai. You know him, right?
Yes, I do.
Was at the center of the famous Nigeria-Morocco clash at the Africa Cup of Nations being held in Morocco.
I understand his IG was
mass reported.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm shocked. I think the platform should just bring back his account, because how can you mass report somebody for like no serious? What offense did he breach? What platform rules did he breach?
He didn't breach any platform. It's just because it didn't go their way, they just automatically assume that
Daniel Lai had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
In fact, it was one of the best refereeing games I've seen at the AFCON. And Nigerians should spare us this whole... You play a game of 120 minutes, you have like one shot on target, and you are disappointed you didn't win. Let's be real.
When the game was played, when? Tuesday?
I don't even remember.
I've forgotten. I think it was Tuesday.
No, it was on Wednesday.
It was Wednesday. I don't know whether Thursday you listened to Now Your Show on radio.
Oh, the Nigerians were calling in.
No, she was teasing them. And it was back-to-back music. She wasn't saying much, but it's just the music that now was playing. It was hilarious. Now you're your And then from there, Traffic Avenue took over. They started teasing the Nigerians. I'm like, you people, you don't like peace in this country. Anyway, let's do the websites. I'm on, okay, my City Newsroom is open. I'm on citynewsroom.com. It's not open. Let me use my phone. Okay, I'm on ChannelOneNewsOnline.com. Some of the stories you'll find. Ghana not producing too many lawyers. CJ Bafo-Bonny says so. Miracles, Abuaje, he claims claims Akufo-Addo's against Baumia are false. That's according to Miracles. And other stories you'll find. Ghana not producing too many lawyers. As I said, CJ Bafo-Bonny says so. Vehicle shortage. GPRTU to deploy guards, sanction offending members. Other stories you'll find. Commuters endure hours of delays, inflated fares at Kanishi Pamprum. Victor Smith, he says former MASLOC CEO to face U.S. courts on January 21. Ayawasi East by-election set for March 3. Suspects behind Energy Ministry staff attack arrested. U.S. Detention Center confirms custody of former MASLOC CEO. Okay, and other stories, 2 arrested over illegal tree felling at Ebri Botanical Gardens. Hey, baby, I'm and Metro Mass Transit to boost public transport with 300 new buses. Those are some of the stories on ChannelOneNewsOnline.com.
And let me take you to citynewsroom.com. Big story here. the vice president, yesterday she visited some stakeholders in Ghana's transport sector following the ongoing transportation crisis that has hit, the capital, and we understand Kumasi has been affected as well. Also here, government to upgrade selected senior high schools with 200 million World Bank funding. There are also some stories around Dennis Miracles Abuaje, who has said that Dr. Baumia is the best person to lead the NPP going into the flag bearership contest and also subsequently election 2028. Some other stories here. Kennedy Japan is also in the news. He says that his government will focus on creating jobs for the teeming youth. And these are some of the big stories here on citynewsroom.com.
Okay, let me take you to graphiconline.com. Okay, it's graphic.com.gh now. Graphic.com.gh. Some of the stories you'll find. Ayawasu East MP Nasser Turu Mahama passes on. Pardon me. This is old news. I don't know if you have any other portal open.
Yeah, there are similar stories on Graphic. Okay, so graphiconline.com. Big story here. If you attempt to bribe a police officer now, he will disgrace you, and that's coming from the IGP Tete Yohonu. And according to him, police officers will no longer accept
bribes.
Unbelievable. Also, and remember Ebonoa, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes, the man who predicted flood, world flood, has been granted bail to the tune of 100,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Also, fuel prices. A lot of people are excited. I'm sure you are too.
Very, very,
For
very
the first time
excited.
since 2022, single digit has been seen on some major OMCs. I'm referring to Girl and Star Oil.
Right.
And in fact, the Star Oil CEO said that the NPA should review the pricing floor model so that the prices can even go further. Can you imagine?
That would be amazing.
Yeah. So a lot of motorists and car owners are excited about that. Also on graphiconline.com, police retrieve Highlander vehicle involved in Adabraka gold theft case. You remember that incident?
Yes, I do.
Shook everybody. Now, when the vehicle was retrieved, apparently it had been sprayed from its original color to a different color. Unbelievable stuff. Also here on graphiconline.com, G priority to deploy union guards to stop drivers charging multiple fares. 27-year-old are sentenced to 7 years for pouring acid on former student. In the Volta region, firefighters avert disaster after 4 tanker overturns. And in China, the country has announced a record $1 trillion trade surplus despite Trump tariffs. And of course, there's some news on the ongoing public accounts committee's efforts to recover misappropriated public funds. I know there's also a big conversation with regards to some LGBT Nyama. Charlie. Oh, the country is a very interesting place. So according to the minority, government's approved textbook that contains very important information on, issues around gender identity, issues around, you can say largely cultural stuff, right?
Yeah.
Has been misrepresented. Of course, the Education Ministry, through the Minister, Haruna Idrisu, has spoken on this, and he is clear that there's no ambiguity in what gender identity should be. The book suggested that, gender identity is how a person feels. So you can be either a man, you can be either a woman. The part that kills the part that kills a lot of people is that the book went on to say that you can identify as both, so either a man or a woman or both. But I also went on to say in the part under contention that it is how a person feels, right? A lot of people have said that that is not what our cultural, and even religious, views are in terms of what a person's gender identity is. Of course, you're a secular state, you're not a Christian or Islamic state, so that's a completely different argument. But the education minister was clear. He said that there's no ambiguity. It's either, yeah, your gender is defined at birth, right? So either you're a man or you're a woman. The minority are calling for the dismissal of the NACA boss, whose mandate it is to approve some of these textbooks, and of course the board chair. We've heard arguments that this was actually done in the previous administration and only published now, even though the minority came out forcefully through Vincent Ekwasifua to, refute all of those issues. There's also another twist to the story. It skipped me, but yeah, so it's a developing story. We'll see how it
Last
unfolds.
night, the Catholic bishops also released a statement on that, and they're saying that it exposes the curriculum oversight gaps in our institutions, and so maybe there's a need for a comprehensive review and audit of curriculum development processes following the content in that book. So, according to that book, if I feel like a tree today, I can say that
that is your identity.
It's my identity.
Some way, Charlie.
If I feel like a dog tomorrow,
no, I think it limited it to man or woman or both. So you can be be a man and woman in one person, like a man, and tomorrow you can feel like a woman. Very questionable.
I'm glad people came out too.
It raises more serious problems. I remember on the Breakfast Show some time ago, Godfred Akoto Boafo, who's a co-host on the show, raised serious issues around some textbooks being used in public schools, not necessarily on gender issues or even the LGBTQ community, but just general representation of history, general representation of facts. There were some subtle bias in there, even grammar error, will shock you. So I think that we need to be more particular, because at that age, that is like the child's formation years. I remember things I was taught in lower primary that has stuck with me up until now. So, as a nation, we need to be very mindful what we teach our younger children. Right, the kinds of information we feed them with. Is it the accurate representation of history? Are we sure that there are no prejudice in there against certain people? So it's important, and in very serious countries, what is fed the child, intellectually, is a part of their broader national development strategy. So, for example, in the next 50 years, we want children who will be passing through schools in Beijing, in UK, right, should have some level of values, some level of appreciation of what it means to be a part of this country. I've seen books that talk about how, for example, if there's a war in a country, some people will freely they will sacrifice everything. Whereas in other countries, maybe more so, especially in Africa, you would see a military who are so indifferent. It is all because of the kind of upbringing, the kind of values that have been passed on to them. So they grow up thinking that this is the nation to die for. It's even an honor to them and their family to have played a role in protecting their state. So they go all out. They go on the most daring of missions. But right now, if an armed robber law enforcement is probably even capable of overpowering, they'll run from the scene. And I'm not even saying that people should, my point is not that people should carelessly put their lives down, but that is how we also see the reckless abandon with which some law enforcement act. They don't understand what it means to build a country. They don't understand the values. Or maybe we've not passed it down to them. So they're on the streets and all they're interested in is taking money from people, receiving bribes, rather than doing their job professionally, and these people, most of them went through our schools. So the point is that it's like that computer processing system. What you feed in is what you get out. Yeah. What you process in is what is processed out.
Garbage in, garbage
exactly.
out.
So if you feed garbage, you get a lot of garbage out. If you feed in a lot of values, proper values, proper ethics, That is what you get out. So my point is that we need to be mindful on the kind of information we feed younger children in schools, up all the way to tertiary. right? It should be one that reflects the values of this nation, of justice, of freedom, of hard work, of discipline, of integrity, of resilience, right? And I'm sure that in the next 30 years, we'll appreciate these things more. So, National Development Planning Commission, NDPC, they are doing a great job. I've heard they are board chair on numerous occasions on the point of view with Bernard. A lot of the time, they are talking macroeconomics, they are talking GDP growth. It's important, but let's look out for the soft issues, right? The soft issues being building integrity, and we can do it when we catch these people young. I hope I made sense this morning, but I feel so strongly about this.
You did. Let me give you Ghana Weekend before we delve into our next topic. So the stories you'll find on GhanaWeekend.com. Telecel Ghana Music Awards opens nominations for 27th edition. The story, Sarkodie's Rapperholic UK edition sells out Royal Albert Hall. Other stories you'll find, A Quiet Afternoon Turned Deadly, the Point Loma shooting story, and content creator Echo Black arrested over alleged domestic assault video. I think he's the one who was beating a lady with his shoe. And apparently he's a big gender advocate, especially.
Yeah. I saw the video.
That
and it was,
video.
Yeah. It was,
very unfortunate. Miss Bell, I quit church after an uncomfortable experience. Dinah Hamilton launches 2026 edition of Awake Experience. Ghanaian TikToker Echo Black sparks concern after emotional Snapchat posts. I have not seen that one. And there's an article here, a letter to Akusia Sewa and team, legal wives. Silence may be the strategy. And
so there's legal wives and there's what? What's the other camp?
Other Bernie, I don't know what her camp is.
Because it's always legal wives I hear.
Me too, it's always legal wives I hear.
So what's the opposite of legal? It's criminal. But Charlie,
I don't think they're called criminal wives.
It can't be criminal. Non-legal wives.
No. That one.
Penatria.
No. What do they call it?
Side chicks.
Side chicks.
Yeah, I hear people say side chicks, true. But Charlie, to have 6 children with your side chick she can't be a side chick. After child 3, she's
even after child 1,
she's pretty much in there. So I'm not really sure about this legal wife side chick thing.
Well,
but the point is, I am still certain that it wasn't the best possible way we could have seen off our legend.
It's like Dan Rumba's burial and death has been marred with so many things. It just, it's sad that for such a man of his stature, well known all across the globe, this is the way we sent him home.
So, what is it? Is it a fight for relevance? Is it a property thing? Like, what for? Because I see that people marry, some people marry like 3, 4, but there's like
in a country
some level of decency when
if you're married. So maybe the 3 or 4 that you're talking about, they're recognized by family and all of that. So when a man passes on, they give the wife like some sort of reverence, and all of those things. And that is what she wants, because in her mind, and yes, maybe some things
the
happened.
side chick or the legal
wife.
Legal wife.
Things may have happened, and they separated, but not legally. So legally, she's still married to him.
So there was a separation.
Yes,
but it wasn't. There wasn't a divorce.
No.
So they were still married, technically.
Technically.
And the side chick was also in the business after how many years of him meeting the first one?
I'm not sure how many years they've been together. All I know is that they have 7 kids.
Yeah, but I know 7 kids. It's not even 6. I thought it was 6.
I had 7.
Charlie, if you have 7 kids with somebody, the person that's side chick again, like, let's be real. Let's face the facts.
What I want to know is, did he give her family drinks?
Okay, I asked if there was
a recognition of her as a wife or even the mother of his kids.
But I hear people say, advocates for the side chick say that was done.
Okay.
But of course, we don't know the full
We don't know the
facts
full details.
of
there's scanty information here.
Yeah, but my point is that 2 women, if we're like 3 or 4, we can understand. But my point is that even some of our Muslim brothers, they marry more, their religion allows for polygamy. they marry multiple wives. Nothing of that sort happened. You know, so
because there's understanding. I don't think the wives themselves are friends.
So the one person wanted to be the only recognized wife, but another person wanted to share the responsibility.
I'm not sure if there was.
Or both wanted to be singularly recognized.
I think that's what the issue is.
Oh,
but I feel like they could have come together to both receive whatever it is, and let the man be buried in peace.
I've seen some
property
circulating believed to be for
yes,
if
it's
really proven to be what it is, then you get the sense why there'll be that kind of
tension and
but Charlie, you are self-fed, yeah. We have fun coming here, Charlie. I get it, right? But I think that we should have really been more minded to that. The Lumber's funeral could have easily been a festival, right? It could have easily been a festival of music, of people even describe him as a poet. Right, it could have been a celebration of tradition and music.
Yeah,
elsewhere we see when people die, it's beyond a funeral. It becomes like a movement, a concert. Right, I think that the Lumba's work meant that he could have been easily even the vigil they had for him.
I think we missed a chance.
It was a full-blown concert, right? Yeah. And a minister once said that he wanted to commercialize funerals in Ghana, give it as kind of a tourism touch and make it attractive to people. It sounded funny, right? But long after, or maybe shortly before, we saw the video of the pallbearers, right?
The dancing pallbearers.
Dancing with caskets. You know that thing where they were holding the casket and dancing? It became a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
It became.
They were interviewed by BBC or CNN.
They went. It was big. Everybody was using their song. It was big. It was a global thing. Even recently, even though I disagree with how it's been done, there was the trend where people were sort of mocking how Ghanaians sort of lay people in states. So if you're a carpenter, they'll give you a hammer and and they let you stand.
Yeah.
If you're a barber, they'll put a shaving stick in your hand. Then you're standing there like you're barbing somebody's head. If you're a drunkard, they'll put in a beer bottle casket. If you're a fisherman, they'll let you be holding nets and all of those things.
Yeah.
It became a TikTok meme. I don't know if you recall. People were mimicking how Ghanaians bury dead persons with their profession. So my point is that there was some potential there. Of course, maybe not big enough to change the economy in any way structurally, but at least returns were there. So to cut everything short, I feel like we missed an opportunity with Daddy Lumba's funeral.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the state should have come in, but in other countries, you get a sense that, once the numbers are more in some form, the state will come in and put things to order. But the laws are also clear. When somebody dies, the law says that the body is for the family, right? So I think that this case should serve as a precedent going forward. And also,
I hope he had a will.
That's also another question. Like I said, we don't know the facts, but I really hope. I think earlier this week there was a major ruling on divorce and property split and all of that. I think we need proper legal education on some of these things. Possibly on the show, we should get a lawyer one time, come sit us through, explain what this recent case means, and also, the law really, because a lot of people don't understand. And I hope that we are minded to just do things properly, And maybe my last advice would be to men who let me leave it there. They know what to do. I'm sure every man who has a side chick.
Finish.
Every man who has a side chick after watching what happened. Yeah, you should
put their house in order.
Charlie, you should be minded.
All right, let me finish with the Ghana weekend. Malik Basintale refutes stroke rumors, returns to work. Shatawale drops new EP, Echoes of the Ghetto. Have you heard it? Your friend
I don't listen now, Shata. I don't listen to it, but I go listen now.
And then finally, surrogate's mother gives birth to quadruplets through IUI. Free the Youth presents President Mahama with exclusive Air Jordan 1. Did you see that AI version of
Charlie.
Mahama wearing the jacket and the Air Jordans?
it was just sad that some media houses even believed.
Yeah, and run with it. You need to do your checks before you publish certain stories. Is there any particular story you want us to go through? I think time is almost up.
So maybe some other time. But first, IUI quadruplets delivered in Ghana. What a joy for the parents. Imagine you just wanted one, and now you have 4.
You have 4.
Unbelievable. So a 30-year-old surrogate mother has delivered a set of quadruplets at the Walking Egg Medical and Fertility Center at Pokwasi in Accra in a rare surrogacy case success that has brought renewed attention to assisted reproductive care in Ghana. The babies, 2 boys and 2 girls, were delivered through a cesarean section in the early hours of Tuesday at 36 weeks and weighed an average of 2.5 kilograms each. A weight doctor said they were healthy for a multiple pregnancy. IUI stands for intrauterine insemination, a common fertility treatment where healthy sperm are collected, washed, and concentrated in a lab and then directly inserted into a woman's uterus around ovulation using a thin to help stream and reach for the egg fertilization, often used for unexplained infertility, cervical issues, or mild male factor infertility, and it's less invasive than the IVF. So interesting news. Congratulations to the team at the Walking Egg Medical and Fertility Center.
That's amazing. Congratulations to them. I wanted to pick your thoughts on this whole transport issues that have been dominating the news this week.
It's a lot.
It's crazy.
It's a lot. Very briefly, I think that, number one, I disagree when, for example, we say that we should leave it necessarily. The short gap measure is members of parliament providing buses. I think that at the very beginning, once we witnessed that this is what was happening, the state should have been the one involved. How should they have been involved? When individual members of parliament decide to now take it upon themselves to do that, you risk having chaos in other ends. I would have expected the transport ministry right from the word go to be the one leading this charge. That being said, it's great, very, very welcoming that the Vice President, Her Excellency Prof. Jane Nano Pokwajeman, is at the center of this. It was a big sigh of relief to see that she went to the transport ministry, engaged the stakeholders, the ministry, GAPT, MMT, Ayalolo, and the others, right, on what the challenges were. Now you get the sense that government has a proper understanding of the issues. She said that they were going to provide 400 buses between the short to medium term. So that is great. But going forward, we need to also have a conversation with GPRTU. I'm not convinced with their
answers.
Exactly. When they just say that, for example, we are not creating any artificial shortages. But we hear people complain. So, for example, I was on the show yesterday. A caller said, Madina to Dodowa, what the drivers do at the station. And station drivers suggest that they are GPRT members. So they pick you from Madina. When they get to maybe halfway through the journey, they drop you off and they load again because they want more money. Now, they do this because at the end of the day, they realize that due to traffic in town, they're not able to make a lot more rounds. So they are better off doing short rounds for more money. So again, we need to address intercity or intracity mobility. There's so much traffic in town these days. It doesn't make sense.
Is it that more people have more vehicles? Or this morning on my way here, normally on a Saturday morning, free-flowing traffic, right? But like at every junction or whatever, there's a car that's broken down.
Exactly.
There's a pothole somewhere.
Exactly.
Like, it's just, it impedes movement, it causes traffic. Normally I'd get here 6, today I was here like 6:15, 6:10. And not because I didn't leave the house early. Just because of traffic and inconveniences
I
on the
also
road.
personally think that there's a lot of construction work going on in different places. Kaswa Winiba, in Sawam Pokwase, motorway. There's construction work going, so it also slows down traffic. But you're right. There are too many breaking down vehicles on our road. Of course, for all of the sins of the last government, they came out with a plan to tow vehicles, a mandatory tow. You know, I'm not sure the approach.
We rejected it, didn't we?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So I wasn't sure the approach at the time. But now it's clear, because on the motorway, for example, you see the traffic, you get there's just like some
cabby that has...
Oh God. You know, so maybe we would expand on this tomorrow.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
A bigger conversation needs to be had. How do we ease traffic pressure so that drivers can now do more rounds? They don't have to increase their fares because fuel prices are down. You know, so somebody said you can't have it all going your way. So maybe this is the President Mohammed's maybe second or third major test. I think the first was the economy. They've done quite a bit. You know, so how they handle this is the... But I don't think that members of parliament individually providing buses is the solution, or even a short-term measure.
It shouldn't even be a conversation starter
not at all,
in the first place.
Because what happens is that at the end of the day, they risk creating problems elsewhere.
Yeah.
You need the coordination of the transport ministry and the local assembly, because the local assembly has the master plan of connecting areas. You know, so, and the police, it should be coordinated. What's the point in picking people from La Paz and sending them to Kaneshie and say that continue on your own? You are going to create more problems for Kaneshie people, right? So it's coordinated. Transport ministry, they know the number of buses they have. Okay, so we are releasing 50 or 60 buses. Plan this route. When you get here, this is what is there. Plan this route. So it's more coordinated, it's more structured. Yeah. And that is the hard work we expect people to do. And not just, you know, it becomes like optics.
Promises, yeah.
You know, so I've provided buses, yeah, I'm working. No, you know, and of course, you get people who are happy and defending it, but in the short term, it even creates bigger problems. There was this famous quote by Dr. Edward Omaniboama, may his soul rest in perfect peace. I remember him very well saying or quoting this during an IPAC meeting, questioning the EC. Now, I know this is what he said. He says, when the roof is leaking, there are two options there. You can decide to take a mop and mop it, right? Mop it. So once it's leaking, you take a mop, you mop it. Your floor will be clean, right? But the roof is still leaking. Or you can decide to fix the roof, which is the source of the problem. You know, so a lot of the time we tend to look out for the optics approach, which doesn't necessarily help us. You know, so I know people will disagree. And so it's a short-term measure, but the short-term measure should be the transport ministry with its resources coordinating, not single individuals. And on that note, I hope we'll talk about it tomorrow because I still have so much to say about it. But congratulations, or let me say well done to the Vice President for leading the charge, you know, in the absence of the President on this very important issue. I don't know if you have any other issues to add. No, you ask me, I want to hear of you. So that when they come, can't only fire me.
She said tomorrow.
Say some.
Tomorrow.
Say some.
Tomorrow, I'll say some. Tomorrow, I'll say some.
On that note, you know, we'll take a break. When we are back, there's a lot more right here on Breakfast Daily Weekend. Don't go.